Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of One Vision. This is Theo, your host for today's episode. Joining us today is Priya Gore, General Manager, Head of Cloud and AI Platform Solutions, U.S. Financial Services at Microsoft. Welcome to the show, Priya.
Thank you so much, Theo, for having me. It's great to be here with you.
I am super excited about our conversation because we're going to talk about something that's near dear to both of us. But before you start, so Priya, you lead the cloud and AI platform solutions team at Microsoft and the US financial services business. Please do tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you and your team are engaging with your clients to help customers navigate this particular era of AI.
I'd be happy to share more. Thank you. So, my team and I are responsible for helping our clients really ideate from the very beginning of ideation of what is possible with things like artificial intelligence, helping them think through their data strategies that are also very important and imperative to, what I call smart AI, and thinking about how to engage AI in your business. So, we do everything from ideation and help customers really anchor on the most and highest value use cases that they can get started with, all the way through to thinking about the sort of cultural impact of AI in their organization, helping them frame maybe the future of work and what that might look like in their business. And all of this is anchored on really not leading with product, but leading with what is the business outcome? What is it that our client is trying to do to up level human ingenuity? Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And we certainly take that to heart here. And we live that mission every day when we work with our clients in the cloud and AI platform space.
I love what you just said. So, talk about outcomes, right? And talking about impact. How do you see the technology impacting the office of CFO in particular and also finance teams?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the role of a CFO today has expanded so much. There's so much that a CFO and their team have to think about, especially as they're, really ensuring that they're thinking through the market impacts, global markets, geopolitical landscapes, all these things that are go into really, running a business and being at the forefront in the C-suite, running the business day to day. And I find that, when I talk to CFOs, a lot of them are really thinking about AI through two lenses. One is how can I leverage AI to help my team and I be more productive, like the basic productivity gains. But then also, like, I think there's just this appetite for fuel creativity. CFOs and people that are in finance functions are looking to find more time to be creative and really to think about problem solving. And there's a lot of heavy workflow that goes into the office of CFO and finance. And so that's right for AI. And so we're talking with lots of CFOs about how they can leverage AI for things that maybe are behind the scenes that maybe are low risk and really high value. So whether it's the way that they're thinking through their quote to cash solutions or workflows, reporting, obviously analytics, the way that they're serving information to the business, what information they're garnering from third party subscription based services. There's a lot of AI that's been infused by many publishers of solutions that our chief financial officers and their teams are leveraging from a data perspective to run their business. So there's lots of opportunity there. And that's a lot of what those conversations are like when we're talking to the office of the CFO.
So, speaking of opportunities, right, on the flip side of it, there is also a lot of myths that can then lead to pitfalls that can stifle progress when it comes to AI and business that are leveraging AI. So, talk to us a little bit more about how that and how do you help clients navigate around that?
Yeah, there are a lot of myths. First and foremost, and especially, in my case, I work in financial services, a highly regulated industry for sure. And one of the things I've found to be very astonishing is that, believe it or not, and it kind of makes sense, right? In financial services, our clients are pretty numbers driven, they're pretty competitive. AI is not new. So across every industry, our clients across all industries have been using AI for decades. But what's interesting about this era of AI is, there are a lot of new beginnings for our customers because AI is now more approachable. it's becoming democratized. And what comes with that is an incredible responsibility of executive teams to really think about, how does this, are we ready for AI? And so some of the myths include, hey, is my data ready for AI? One of the most important things that we work with clients to really think about is, your AI is only as smart as the data in which flows through those AI systems. And so while it is important to have a really strong data strategy that's grounded in, a lot of organization and truth, you also don't have to solve the world's problems with all of your data. For example, your data doesn't have to sit all in one place to be leveraged for AI. There's lots of great technology and capability to be able to bring decentralized sources of truth together to really reason over that information and engage AI in your business that way. Another myth, as I was sort of alluding to in the financial services business, and I'd say this about any regulated industry, is that I think there's a perception that, they're laggards, right? That those of us that are working in the regulated industries are laggards with AI, and actually see the opposite. We saw some of the fastest adoption of AI and this generative wave of AI in the last 2.5, 3 years in financial services in the US, which was really wonderful to see. And, look, if we can solve it for some of the regulated industries, we can really help solve problems and help engage AI across multiple businesses and multiple industries that are non-regulated as well. So we're tackling some of those most difficult problems and challenges, helping our teams and customers overcome those concerns. And certainly we're also anchoring on responsible AI. So another myth is, AI is not safe, it's dangerous, it's, in a lot of cases, there's a lot of concern about, how is AI going to change work, and, will my job be safe if we start using AI? And these are all things that we're working very closely with our clients to unpack and really help them get comfortable with, the future and where their organization is going to go in terms of its workforce, and their sort of, I guess, cultural sensibility around, getting comfortable with AI, and thinking big and starting small and helping their teams get oriented.
I love what you just said too, is how is AI going to change work? And I think that applies to businesses as well as personal too, right? And I think that's the new era of AI that is very different than the last 3 years. You see how the technology is evolving and it's impacting the people that we work with, it's impacting the organizations that we partner with, and it's also impacting us as people who are working in the space. So as we navigate through this, right, one of the questions often comes to leadership. Many executives, they want to be AI first. They want to be AI led, kind of like how we're trying to coach others who are working with us, right? We need to think about being AI first and AI led. Is that utopia, do you think? Or are you seeing, how are you seeing that take shape? And how do you see this manifest with executive teams that you work with?
I think, that we're at this really interesting inflection point where the technology is advancing so quickly, and whether we like it or not, I'll say it this way, it's here to stay, right? The train has left the station, and I think most executive teams are feeling it's really important to have a point of view. And I think the other thing that, we talk a lot with our customer teams about is, and boards of directors, is, look, like, it doesn't mean you have to go do everything all at once. Like, you can think big, start small, think about the culture of your organization and how that's going to change. When you talk about how is work going to evolve and change, we kind of think of it in three phases. We think of it as first, getting people comfortable with tooling for their own day-to-day work. So this is productivity tools like, in our world, Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Chat. These are great ways and sort of on-ramps for many of our customers to just get their employees and themselves and executive teams to get comfortable with AI and how it can actually work for you. I always say to people, when you think about engaging AI in your business as an executive team, make sure that you're landing it in a way that is about you're in control of what you do with the AI. And you can write policies and have processes in place to make sure that you're safeguarding, the use of AI within the business. That's just as important as the change management of getting people comfortable with the tooling. It's also, what we expect of that AI, and the AI should work for you. And when employees of organizations understand that, and it's landed with them in a way that they're in control of how they use it, but also what comes with that is a great sense of responsibility. We've seen that really be a big shift in organizational readiness for this AI journey. The second phase that we see, as people engage AI and they start using it in their daily work as an individual in their daily work, then organizational leaders need to start to think about the complexion of their organization. Meaning, one of the trends that's emerging right now is that of, people, humans in, different functional departments are now being accompanied by agents. So this whole wave of agentic AI is coming, and a lot of our customers are, experimenting with what we call sort of this hybrid teaming structure of being able to bring agents to the workforce. And for tasks that you have within a person's daily work that can be outsourced to an agent to actually help you get your work done, well, then that becomes sort of a hybrid work enablement, right? And so the complexion of teams is evolving and changing. And again, what comes with that as leaders is for us to really sort of think not only as leaders of people, but leaders of organizations that have infused in them these agents. And by the way, one of the best practices is that when you think about employing agents in your organization as part of your AI strategy, you want to make sure that you have all the governance and security measures in place around those systems and tools. And the really interesting thing about it is you can give these agents identities, just like you enroll an employee as an identity in your identity solution. So what that means is that you can control what that agent has access to for information, for what those agents can do and what they can't do. And you can always control these systems to make sure that there's a human in the loop for everything. So anything that you might be leveraging an agent to help you gain efficiency or help you gain value, you can also make sure that at every step of the way in those processes, that you also have humans, validating and sort of, I always say, trust and verify all of those AI capabilities that you're leveraging within the business.
Trust and verify. It boils it down. It sounds so simple, but yeah, it is core, right, to what you were just talking about, human in the loop, being responsible, and also rethinking organization structure. As you say, the future is not just about leading humans, it's also thinking about how agents will work in the entire new organization. I almost felt like we need to start thinking about new org structure, new onboarding procedures, planning for, um, you know, instead of just CapEx and OpEx, maybe now we have an additional item. That's a whole new world
It's a
right
whole
there.
new world. It is a whole new world, and we think of it at Microsoft. In fact, we published a study this year, and really the premise of it was really that we do it every year. We poll 31,000 people across 31 different countries, so it's a global, very diverse global study. And as we study sort of the future of work year over year, what we found this year is sort of this era of what we call the frontier firm. And it's really what we're talking about. It's this idea of really defining the next generation of organization that fuses human judgment with AI and AI agents to scale work being done, to help organizations and companies work smarter, unlock new value, and really take advantage of this era of AI that we're in and the opportunity that we have. The technology is pretty advanced, and I think we all know, like, it's moving quickly. And what's interesting about it, especially in these last few years, is that in the wave of generative AI and where things are headed with agents in this next season of AI is it's very approachable, not just to developers and data scientists, which is how it's been in the past with traditional data science and machine learning, but these are models that we can engage with natural language, which means it's an opportunity to democratize AI within your business. And like I said, really get it to work for you. But what comes with that is this sense of, real responsibility to make sure that we're thinking about not only the internal opportunity, the internal use cases and those opportunities to gain efficiencies and value with the way we work, but then also thinking about reimagining new customer experiences. So for those of you that are building our application builders, we have many customers that have existing application experiences. Well, now they're infusing those app experiences with AI, and they're bringing new experiences to life for their clients and bringing more value forward for their customers. And guess what? their clients expect that, right? That's going to be expected as part of how companies operate and have a competitive edge going forward. And so it's been a really interesting evolution. And again, it starts with, I think, internal enablement, employee enablement, and really thinking about how you're going to bend the curve on innovation with just getting your organization more comfortable with that on ramp of using AI in their daily work.
I can't agree more. I love when you were talking about democratizing the technology, having more people have access to it and learn how to use it, because you don't need coding skills, right? To use the technology and to create value, to create new experiences. You can talk to it and can understand, and you can play around with it. I think that's what makes this era so exciting. So, any parting thoughts and takeaway for our audience, and perhaps anything you would like to leave executives such as CFOs with parting words here today?
A few things I would say. First of all, I'd say, this is really about change management at the end of the day. One of the things I'm seeing is, our clients are really excited about the promise of AI and really the opportunity that it affords people to, again, if you think about it, everyone's like very overworked across all industries and in all parts of the world. There are so many things to do in a day. There's so much information coming at all of us from so many different channels and modalities, both in our professional lives and in our personal lives. It can become overwhelming. And so, again, it's about really encouraging people to lean into AI and get it to work for you. But what comes with that, to get it to work for you, it's going to take some practice. It's not like pulling up a search engine and searching something and having it come back with all the answers perfectly. Like, it takes practice, it takes some patience and time to get used to how to prompt systems. As product builders and solutioners of technology or even application solutions or even whatever it is you do in your business, and what you're bringing to market, you want to be thinking with sort of a lens on how can AI be a differentiator in the way that we show up in the market. But what comes with that is a wealth of change management that needs to happen in the organization. So it's just as much about getting your employees and your stakeholders, comfortable with it and oriented to it, and then the sky's the limit with what you can do with it. And the other thing I'd say is sort of a parting word is, we were in the past, we would say, hey, let's look at a few use cases and get started. Sometimes they say, you know what, go for the really hard stuff, like where you have really, really good baselines. You can measure how you're doing things today and maybe how long it takes you to complete from point A to point B, something or build something that you're taking to market. And let's see if we can bring AI into the mix and help you cut down cycles and increase, kind of the throughput of what it is you're doing and how you're, completing the work you have to get done with the employees that you have, and then up level them to more interesting, more creative, more human oriented things, and outsource and side source some of those mundane things to the AI tooling that can sit beside them and next to them to get to do their jobs and do them well. I think that in the end, that will be the vector for competitive advantage. This is moving quickly. I'm seeing, as I said, many of our clients really racing to, as I say, democratize AI in their business. And it starts with leadership. We are working really hard at Microsoft to make sure that we're, engaging every developer, and using, they're using our tools like GitHub Copilot. We're helping every employee in every organization get comfortable with the technology using our Copilot chat and M365 Copilot solutions in the flow of work. And then as we, help customers mature their journey with AI, we're seeing our clients build products and solutions that are infused with AI, and again, making market differentiating influence in the industries that they serve and the clients they're working with. And that just feeds forward. And so I think it's an exciting time. We're certainly thrilled to be part of this era here at Microsoft. And as I said before, we're all about meeting our clients where they're at. And I would say the same for leaders, like meet your employees where they're at, meet your co-executive peers where they're at. Sometimes it takes a little convincing and it takes a little ideating and brainstorming, and just opening up and being a little bit vulnerable with one another, because we don't have all the answers. But if you kind of take the technology off the table and just ideate about where do we want to bring more value, to our business or to our clients and our stakeholders, those are usually the winning places to get started with AI.
It almost feels like this is a technology that can bring more collaboration opportunities together. And as you say, Priya, sky is the limit. So I can't wait to see what happens. Like I used to say, let's touch base in a year, but I feel like a year is going to be a decade. So let's hope we touch base again soon. And again, thank you so much for your time. And for the rest of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of One Vision. I hope you got as much insight from Priya as I did. I very much enjoyed the conversation. So until next time,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Oh, take care.